Yep, hello. Uh, yep, let me just check. Seems to be working okay. I have, and oh yeah, it says you're active now, so you might want to have a look at that. Yeah, it says on yours, it says you're active now, so it should be working absolutely fine. No? Well, try. Can you try send something? Right, let's have a look at that. Hmm. Have you tried turning everything off and on again? Hmm. Strange then. So very strange. Yeah, no idea. I don't know. I can't actually help you with anything unless I'm there and I'm looking at it all. Or yes, there's not much I can really do. Um, just try turning absolutely everything off and restarting. Not just turn things off, but actually hold down on the reset button. Hold everything down for longer so that it reboots everything. That way it clears everything and starts again. I can't now. No, I'm right in the middle of. Well, we've just started the live session. Excuse me. Yeah. Hopefully you'll be able to get it working and it'll all be working fine. Right, what's happening? Has anyone made any money today? Anyone made any money this week? As I said, this is not a spectator sport. If you haven't made any money, why not? Let's address that. Let's address the elephant in the room. You think you have a big room and then you stick an elephant in it and you think, oh, actually, you come to realise, actually, your room's quite small. I need a bigger house. What's what's happening? What are we doing? Do you know you've got some long title, haven't you? What do I call you? I don't know what to call you. I don't even know where to start. I keep thinking official. I just call you Mr. Official because you're a very you look very official. It's like an official looking character. Don't mess with this guy. He's official. But
Yeah,
so
me to feel me or tough, either
that
one.
that's what I said, Mr. Official. Exactly. Even your name is official. It's like a lord. It's just a long-winded name, you know. Lords and sirs, they give themselves 20 names, a few double barrels, just to mix it up a bit, you know. Does your name have any meaning? Does it mean anything?
Yeah, it means God is enough for me.
Is that what your mum and dad told you? See, and you believed it. Have you tried googling it? It doesn't mean that at all. I googled your name. It doesn't mean that at all.
I think it does.
How much do you want to bet? I bet you 50k.
Huh?
I bet you
Yeah,
50k. It doesn't mean that. Is that enough to get? Is that enough to get you started?
let's go. Bet it. Put your money where your mouth is.
Is that enough to get you? Is that enough to get you your leg up in this industry? A foot in the door. Is that enough to actually smash the door down and just walk in and go, "Yep, Mr. Official has arrived. I'm here. I'm lording it up. Let's do this. Let's go." So have you made any money today? Have you made any pips?
Um, well, I made a bit, but then I lost a bit, so it's
You,
kind of neglected.
you lost a bit. Where did you lose that bit?
Um,
Have you checked in your pockets? Have you checked under the bed, under the sofa?
Yeah, nowhere to be found.
Where did you lose that bit?
Um, I took buy on gold.
I did wonder. I was driving to my gym session, and it did occur to me. I sort of laughed to myself because I was thinking, I wonder who the retail traders are out there that are taking longs and gold that are giving me my money for today. I do wonder, and I was thinking, well, it won't be anyone that's associated with us in these groups or sessions. It won't be. Surely it won't be because I think I just spent up until about 10 o'clock last night and from 5 o'clock this morning posting chart after chart after chart on gold in different coloured fancy charts. I did different time frame charts, did different breakdowns and analysis. Oh, by the way, I think they all said short. I don't think I put long on any of them, but I did say if it does go to the 40s, then maybe you should be short in it. So you could have taken longs to 40.
Yeah, and then
What did you buy at? Did you take a long at 41?
no, just about 37,
That's not too bad.
37. Still quite bad. I should have saw from there. I was thinking, I don't know why. I just thought this 747, but then just straight it bought up for like a couple pips and then rejected around 39.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm still holding some short positions on gold, by the way.
yeah, I should be in short soon.
We're looking for 1820s again. I think we did touch 1820. Did we touch 1820? Let's have a look. 9 o'clock this morning, we went down to 28. That's not bad. Okay. Yeah, not bad. Okay, so, well, Euro is just all the Euro pairs have just rallied. We've just had the ECB news, so that's all rallied. Did you see any of the posts on Brexit related, just shorting pound pairs because Boris went and had a 3-course dinner at the expense of the taxpayers in Brussels, no less. I mean, he didn't want to go to a London restaurant. He needs to go to Brussels. I'm going out for dinner tonight. Oh, where are you going? Brussels. Okay, cool. How are you getting there? Private jet, first class. Oh, nice. Who's paying? It's on the house. Don't worry. Love it. Will you be discussing anything? Yeah, might talk about some Brexit negotiation that isn't really happening. Okay, cool. This is his wife asking the questions, right? And she's like, "Yeah, have a nice evening." He goes, "Yeah, no problem. I'll be back later. I'll be back tomorrow." Yeah, that's the life of the Prime Minister. Fantastic, huh? What a living that these guys have. He'll give himself a pay rise next year. when it comes to doing all the numbers and the budget, he'll give himself a pay rise and pat himself on the back for a job well done. Now I'm hearing people talking about no deal is better than a bad deal. So, okay, so we're going to be basically resigning ourselves to that as an outcome. So I shorted the pound pairs because they already started to fall in yesterday. They spiked down at 10 o'clock, and you can't trade at 10 o'clock because have you seen the spreads widen because it's a transitional period from sort of 10 till 11 at night where all the markets are completely closed, and the last session is a US session, and that closes at around 9 o'clock. So between 9 and 10, that everything kind of just finishes, and the spreads widen whilst everything just gets calculated and reset, and swaps get added on, and basically if there's any overnight positions, that's when they get charged the fees, etc. So that's when it happens between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock London time.
Okay.
So people sometimes say, "Why are the spreads so big?" And you got a 20 pip spread on the pound dollar instead of a 1 pip or 2 pip or something, and people are going, "What's going on?" And it's like, yeah, because that's the time. And then I'm thinking, what's going on with you? Why are you sitting at 10 o'clock at night trading? What's wrong with you? Don't you have a life? So, well, I was bored, couldn't sleep. So, yeah. And then there are people in this group. Oh, where's George? George isn't here. Oh, that's a shame. George fell asleep last night and started snoring.
Sleeping.
Yeah, catching up on his Z's.
I caught up on my Z's today, and then, the one day I decided to sleep, the market never.
Ah, that's it. You see, you wait and you wait and you wait, and you're like, I can't wait any longer. Just needs a little bit more patience. So, I said that markets they tend to trend about 20% of the time. So to put that into context, if you have 5 days in a week, then one of those days you are likely to get a bread and butter move, a move that's going to potentially give you some profit. And so if you can just be patient and wait for when that happens. So that was yesterday, pretty much kicked off early morning, but it really gathered momentum during the US session. We saw some big moves, didn't we? We saw some big sell-offs on the stock markets and gold as well. So I don't know what's going to happen now. I think maybe we'll have another leg down, but we've pretty much had that moment where we've had the volume, we've had some good movement, and that was when the money was there to be made. Now you can go back to sleep. Now you can go and catch some more Z's. No problem.
USD CAD is just tanking right now.
Is it tanking? That doesn't make sense. It's a bit strange, really. Is it broken support? Has it?
Just by this. Let me see. It's broken support by percentage.
Right. Interesting. That correlates with the stock market, so that would mean the stock market needs to start pumping up, going up if that's going to go down, because we're looking for some correlation with dollar related.
That's so strange.
Yeah.
Because gold is going down, so I had
Gold is going down.
I assumed that the USD was appreciating, not depreciating.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I wouldn't touch the dollar CAD right now. If you have a grasp on correlation, and you're looking for those correlations to provide an added confluence, to provide that added sense of comfort, reason to get into trades. So, well, that's going down, that's going up, that's moving. Things are moving as they should. If it's not doing that, then you've got to see which what's out of sync, which one is out of sync, and then maybe have a little look and see why, and maybe see if just keep an eye on it. Wouldn't trade it, but maybe wait and see if things are going to rectify and adjust themselves, and see which one adjusts and see what does decide to move correctly. And well, I don't know really. We'll see what happens. Gold is consolidating, and we're just having a spike up now on gold. It's become very choppy. But we did have a nice move last night, yesterday into today. I said short it. If it gets up to 40 into the 40s, and I posted all the analysis. So if I do all that, and you see then that after we've done the analysis, things do line up according to how how we've analysed it, then take the bloody trade and make some bloody money, and don't try and go the other way. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to be right 100% of the time, but
Nah, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know. Almost.
what were you looking to do? A quick just day trade, catch a move.
Yeah, I was trying to go for like multiple pips, and then I was trying to go for like 10, 20, and then it was really the spread that even got my entry a bit shit as well.
Okay.
Because if the spread hadn't put me up as high as it was, I probably would have been in profit for a bit longer and
Okay.
been able to pull out. But yeah, I don't know. Seems because I've been doing pretty well on my live account as well, but it's like ever since I started my FTMO,
Yeah, it seems like FTMO. Been looking at the FTMO. It seems like it does mess with your mentality. A lot of it is it's very seems like a blocked artery. It just seems a bit. Your judgment becomes a little bit clouded. Everything's not clear. The emotions seem to just be a little bit messed up with it all. It's not. The minute you stop trading at FTMO, it's good to have a demo account or another account or your personal account, something else that you can go and bounce ideas off, and that will just help unclog everything. It's like having a blocked sink. It's just, you know, that feeling. You know, you've just alleviated all that pressure, and you'll just feel better, and you'll be able to trade better and make some informed decisions. And then you think, okay, great. And once you have that little bit of momentum where you're making money, you may be able to then quickly switch it up a bit and go onto your challenge accounts and make some money on those accounts as well very quickly. And think, okay, look, I've got a clear head right now. Things are going well. I've been back testing. I've been, trying out what's going on my other accounts. No pressure, no loss. Now is the time I need to get in. Now I can see there's money to be made. Now I'm going to jump on it and make some, and maybe try that. So maybe have different accounts. I have different accounts for different
yeah,
occasions, and
yeah. I think I do have different accounts. Like I have another live account, and I'm up almost 160% on it this week. But then on my FTMO account, it's like
right,
down at 3% or 4%.
crazy, isn't
So
it? See that has nothing to do with anything more than just the way you feel. So I called I shared it as well. I shared a couple of signals. Pound pairs, pound dollar, pound yen. I gave some T1s and T2s. So T1s have been hit.
yeah, I think I saw them actually. GJ and
GJ was a better target. It was a better. It was just it just had more scope, more downside. So even getting in slightly late, you still had 138.50 as a first target, and price was trading at around 139.20 to 30 area. So it was already giving good 60, 70 pips. Just that on its own was enough for a decent trade today.
Yeah, GJ does really good form. Yeah, I had to just start trying to focus on a few pairs. Just leaving those trades in, not pulling out too early and things like that as well.
What is anybody shorting this dollar CAD? Anyone on this CAD? I don't. I haven't looked at it. I don't know if it's just a quick move or why it's doing what it's doing. But we've got some dollar strength coming in because dollar yen's trying to curl down. Dollar Swiss is pushing down because that correlates with the euro dollar. Dollar CAD
Yeah,
just seems to be doing its thing.
the DXY is dropping, so that's probably why USD CAD is as well.
So maybe that's why we're seeing a bit of a push up on the pound pairs as well. Pound dollar, pound yen and pound dollar. Everything's a little bit mixed up. Okay. Singapore's very nice. It's a very nice place. Very lucky to live there, to be able to live there.
live in Singapore?
Andrew does.
Oh. Man, that's crazy. The dollar USD CAD hasn't been this low since like 2018.
Yeah, this one's shit.
I'm not complaining. I mean, we're obviously pay what, like 30% margins on all our electronics because of the exchange.
Because you buy your electronics from America.
Well,
Why do you
like
do that?
Apple.
I'm on.
Like
I'm
what I
on.
mean is, so like
I'm on.
in the
I'm
U.S.
on means I'm on. I mean, we need to be very quiet, please, guys. Can you keep it down over there? Like, there's no talking when I'm doing these live sessions.
The thing is like
We're
things
tuned
like
in.
electronics
There
and
are
whatnot,
people
they're priced,
on
you
the
know, higher
YouTube
here
live as well.
than they would be in the U.S. But the spending power doesn't change, right? So things are relatively more expensive, I would say. USD CAD just is trying to make a huge wick, it seems.
Too many people in this house today. It's hectic. Need to get a lock on that door. Right. Sorry, it's been a little bit crazy here today. Got a few people in the house. Busy household today. Bit hectic. I need to get a lock on the door as well. We need to be able to stop people just wandering in. They just wander in and they just start talking and mumbling, and it's quite funny. Right, so let's say hello to the guys that are online, and let's see, where can we go with this dollar CAD. So dollar CAD has broken 129.50, and it's down at 127.50. It's just been sinking really. I haven't looked at these charts for a while, so we need to update. We'll start looking at updating our support and resistance levels, perhaps. So hello to all the viewers on YouTube. How's everybody doing? Is there anything you'd like us to look at? Let's explore this dollar CAD. Why not? Looks a bit. Oh, you're from Malaysia originally. Okay. So being able to work in Singapore, that's kind of cool. Yeah, your neighbours anyway. It's not far, is it? So yeah, one of my neighbours was actually from Singapore. Let's have a look. Let's pull up the daily dollar CAD. So yeah, bearish. Very much doing its own thing right now. 124, 125, 124.85. So we're looking at 125. It's broken that key trend line, the weekly trend line. Wow, okay. So we're looking at the extension levels, because it's broken all of this support and broken the last range, and hasn't even had the momentum to push up to do the break and retest kind of price action. It's just broken and is pushing down. What leaves us 76? So it tested at 76 a few times, made a nice little double top before failing. So when did that happen? That was November. So the start of November we retested and then failed. Interesting. Yes.
Still crazy how high it went in April.
Yeah, it was a double top, retested previous highs from January 2016, which would have been a great time to get in and short that back down. Again, impulsive news driven price action. Right, let's have a look at, let's get that on there, and then let's have a look at gold as well. What is going on with that? Did I do that? Whoa. There might, what is that noise? There might be another shorting opportunity to be had on gold.
That's me. Sorry, Alex. I forgot to mute my mic before I started doing shit with my trailer.
Unfortunately, man.
Oh, 140 taps again, 140. Let's sell something at 140 maybe. What do you reckon? Could we sell something on gold at 140? 1840 rather. Let's have a look. Minutes ago there, we're having a bit of a push up. Yeah, I mean, this has further downside on the dollar CAD, maybe as far down as 125. But yeah, I'm thinking another shorting opportunity on gold. 41 minutes on this hour candle. Let's allow this to do what it needs to do to the upside. It might just start giving it all back to the upside, or at least allow for price to put in some decent retrace for another drop. What we got here? So this is, we're starting to see some divergence on dollar CAD on the 4 hour. Okay, so that's not bad. It's just a bit messy. Yeah, we're coming down into those extension levels since it broke, but I mean it's not perfect. Okay. Yeah, so we still have this. I didn't realise just how bearish it actually is, dollar CAD. It's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's get rid of that. Let's go and focus a bit more on what's happening here. A bit more relevant price action. Yeah, so we've had this bit of a drop down, we've had a big pullback that continued down, and then we had another little pullback, bounce off that 200 EMA on the 4 hour, and everything was just trending to the downside. It hasn't really done anything, and it's stalled here, and people thought perhaps it was going to go up, but it didn't. It's just continued to slide further still, so yeah. I can't really trade this. Can't really trade it unless there's a bit of buying that comes into to lay some some support and then take it back up. But that needs to be based on whatever else is going on with the fundamentals. That's going to affect this. And you'd want price to be back up above 128 ideally for longs. So if it stays below 128, it's just going to stay bearish. Let's get rid of all these lines and just focus on the fib extensions. So this may just be a liquidity grab of some sort, where we just spike down a little bit and then come back up. Maybe. Do you think gold has potential to pull back to 1850 before going back to the down? No. No, it's not going to do. It's not going to do. It's not going to do that sort of a massive swing up and then drop back down again today, unless anything's possible. To be fair, I shouldn't say no. Yeah, anything's possible, Cameron. If you've been trading longer than 30 seconds, you know that anything's possible. Wouldn't rule it out, but I'm just looking for further downside. I'm looking for this consolidating range to hold. I'm not looking for price just to immediately go all the way back up again. I'm looking for another leg down. We're going to switch over to gold in a second. But yeah, I mean that's a nice move, isn't it, so far, developing. It's just very slow. It's one of those pairs that you put a trade on, and if it moves, you might be able to bag 50 pips or so, 100 pips every now and then. Dollar CAD, that is. See where it's broken this key support area down at around 127.60. What we do is we take the last swing low and we take the last swing high, and we just want to monitor this current price action as it's developing now. As we come down to test these fib extension levels, because it's broken support. So you want to see where it's going to go to, where it can extend to, because you can see the price is broken and it's extending, isn't it? It's extending its arm, so to speak, and putting a full extension to the downside. So that's how this fib tool can prove useful, because it can help you gauge what sort of percentage it extends. So we could say 127, or you could just say the extended 27%, 27.2%. Ask me why. Why 27.2? It's a funny number, isn't it? It's just some strange phenomenons sometimes that can sort of be explained, but you sometimes feel within this industry that when somebody explains something, you think, is that really the reason? I try not to question it too much. I try and get a basic understanding of what works and what doesn't, and so then you can put it into one of two categories. It either works more often than not and it's consistent, or it doesn't work and it's a pile of rubbish. To understand the reasons why certain things get used and how they get to be used, well, I think that's just because a lot of people use these levels when it comes to using Fibonacci. For anyone who uses Fibonacci numbers and these retracement tools, then you'll find that a lot of people will use the same numbers. Even at 76.4, it will vary. Some people will use a 78.6. So 76.4, 78. It's not much difference, to be fair, is it? But so where would you look to enter? Well, when I was posting, like I said to the guys, when I posted up until about 10 o'clock last night, if gold goes up to 1840, or the 1840s, that would be another good potential to short it back down again. That was yesterday into today, and then this morning, from 5 o'clock this morning when I woke up to short it, and it even pumped up. It even went up there this morning to allow anyone to get in. It gave you so many attempts to short it, and yeah, if you've missed all of those, you might as well not trade gold and just sit on your hands now, because you're very late to the party. You might be able to sneak something in now, but whether you've chosen to bury your head in the sand and take the analysis with a pinch of salt, not really look at it until after the event, and then think, damn, that's it's all playing out, and now you're thinking, yeah, I'd like to get involved. Excuse me. Appreciate that. Maybe you are a bit too late to the party, and all the food's been eaten, and all the alcohol's been drunk, and there are just bags of ice that are melting. So yeah, I'd say couldn't really give anyone a good entry again. But yeah, over the last 24 hours, there have been some good setups as well. George, Big G. Put a little button. Put a little button next to you, George. So when your head falls and you fall asleep, it just mutes the mic. It just hits it.
Did I fall asleep again with the microphone on?
Yeah, we were listening to you in high definition. It was it was like one of those wildlife documentaries.
He's lucky I moved my stops up before I fell asleep, because I woke up and the whole world had collapsed.
Yeah, so that's why we were talking about that yesterday. It's like, well, things can only move in a straight line for so long. Excuse me. So this is dollar CAD. That's enough on the dollar CAD. Let's see if it finds some support and maybe goes back up. Maybe 120. It's to trade above 128 really, and if it can trade above 128, then maybe potentially we could see 129 again. Previous structure with divergence. Yeah. So yeah, it would need to trade above 128. Ideally, it needs to get up there because that would take it back up into the mixed, above where it broke out from on the dollar CAD. So it looks quite impressive with the way it's moved down, but that's about 30 pips. And as we know, we don't get out of bed for anything less than 100 pips, otherwise what's the point? so yeah, some things just not.
You've had a good day, I see.
Yeah, it was all right. We said, markets they trend about 20% of the time. So put that into context. 1 day a week, 5 days, 1/5. Yeah, so you'll always get a day in a week where stuff happens, and that was sort of yesterday, rolling into today. So there was stuff happening, and we were able to look to try and make some money. Yeah, let's have a look at gold. I don't think much is going to happen now. Maybe we'll. Do we have some news? No. It's just ECB European news that came out that moved the euro pairs, spiked up.
Spot gold up too, isn't it?
Nah. It's consolidating. It's in a range. God, we do all this, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with no-nonsense Forex, but it is super popular in certain circles and legitimate. I do not mean to trash it, but I stumbled onto it right when VP started his podcast. Who's VP? Joe?
He's the guy that runs
Runs what? Oh, is that? Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
He's the guy that put the whole thing together.
Oh, okay. So no nonsense Forex is a thing. Is a site. Okay.
Yeah, it's a system that the guy put together.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It wants absolutely nothing to do with price action at all. He's a purely indicator-driven and very specific. Like he has an algorithm, a very specific algorithm that's put together. But he won't tell you indicators. He teaches you how to find them, test them, and put together your own style.
And he's strictly daily chart.
Okay.
Strictly daily chart.
That's okay. That's a nice rule to have a daily chart.
He says that he trades for about 15 minutes a day at the close of the day. Like he gets on about 15 minutes before the day closes, and he does what he's going to do, and that's it.
When he says at the end of the day, is he in the US?
Yeah, he's in the U.S.
And is it?
4 o'clock.
So it's at the close of the markets, the cash markets, like the stock markets, at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
4 p.m. New York time. Because Forex is 24 hours. It doesn't shut at 4, does it? So the daily.
Well, right, but I mean, like on our charts, like in the U.S., that's where your day ends. You get your line, and the next day starts.
Yeah, really. Okay, good. Okay, no, I thought it was midnight New York time I was using when I used New York settings. I was thinking midnight New York time, which was always 5 hours difference to London. But okay, cool. Yeah, no, fair enough. That's good. So he sets it up there and he does that, and so it's 15 minutes to actually take a trade, or 15 minutes to do a bit of. So he does a bit of analysis, and he knows exactly what's going on. And in 15 minutes, he just comes in and tries to take some money. Okay.
His algorithm is that he has 2 indicators to get him into a trade, and they have to agree to get into a trade.
So only
He's got
2.
one indicator
Oh, okay.
to get him out of a trade. So accordingly, and then that's it. And then everything else you just lets ride until 4 o'clock the next day.
Oh, he leaves the trades on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's fair enough. There's a guy in Australia who does that because of the time zone. He 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 does. No, there is a guy in Australia. He trades off the daily because he has a day job. He works, and so he comes in the evening. For him, it's late, and he'll just look at things setting up for and
I thought you were taking the piss out of me.
what? No, you don't trade. You don't trade in the evening. You trade the morning, afternoon, evening, weekends, holidays, bar mitzvahs, engagements, weddings. You're there. Where's George? He's on the charts. He sleeps there. He eats there.
I'm actually in a trade at the moment, CAD Swissies.
Ah, okay. So you've gone one end of it from one end of the spectrum to the other. You've gone from.
No, I'm doing one of Rob's trades at the moment. I did the other one, the Aussie, which took profit just before.
I mean though, with regards to in regards to trading things like the Nasdaq, where you can get some decent moves, you've gone for a Swiss pair that you could be in that for the week and it might move 10 pips.
Well, it's actually doing a bit today.
Is it? Is it? Have we got some CAD news then? Is that why CAD pairs are doing stuff?
Yeah, I found, well, the CAD Swissies up to the last move down. It's actually nearly retraced 100%. Now it's heading back down.
I just realised I don't have CAD Swiss. Okay.
Oh, look, it was all the majors that I looked at, and the Aussie, US, and the CAD Swissie looked like, and they weren't in any sort of I don't like trading pairs that are in any sort of confluence.
Okay.
And if you screw up on one, you'll screw up on both.
Yeah. Let's. Well, let's. Anyone doing anything? Has anyone done anything or doing anything with gold?
What's the? I mean, I heard you say it's got no business trading above 1840. Is that right?
No, 50.
Oh, 1850.
Yeah. If we're looking for a downtrend, then we don't really want to be seeing it go and retest the highs, and it gets a little bit messy. So this was yesterday. We wanted to see this. We wanted to see a continuation down to retest this wick on the on some of these high time frame candles where we had a move down and then a bit of a rejection. So we were looking for the retest, but I was looking for a proper N shape completion and maybe a lower low and getting down to like 20, so said 21 to 25, somewhere down here to retest this area. But you see it did a partial retest and then it's got stuck, and now we're seeing a bit of a rally right now. Really, we're seeing a rally in this hour, so 20 odd minutes to go. We're going to have to just let this do its thing to the upside. I'm thinking like maybe it will go to, I don't know, I'm just about to do the analysis on it now and work out where it can likely go to. So, bit of trend line support. We'll take it up to about that 50, which is what we were saying. Let's pull this. And was it you that asked about the highs and the lows?
Yeah, I couldn't quite make it out because I couldn't see properly on the actual digits are not visible. I'm on a laptop and I must be.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought people would just look at it and think, okay, you can look on your own chart and make out pretty much, okay, if someone gives you a number, you just look at the chart on your own device and think, okay, it's the same. You'll see the same pattern setup, won't you? Generally, especially if people are using similar
No, what
charting.
I could see the top where you dragged it from the top, but I just couldn't see the bottom, whether it was in line with the other one that was already there,
Okay.
which it must be on that high, on that low on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, that's the last major low.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Now I can see exactly where. Yeah. 'Cause it looked like one line. I wasn't sure whether you went further down or.
No, just this range. I mean, it's quite a big range, just over 1,000 pips.
Yeah.
What's interesting is to keep an eye on the weekly, because the weekly, we want to see where the weekly candle closes. If it closes bearish into tomorrow, then we have further downside for next week, don't we? We will have. You can see that on the. Let's get this, right, you'll be able to see it on the weekly. Yeah? Let's have a look at the weekly. Yeah, so we have like large wick to the upside on the weekly, large wick to the downside on the weekly, and it just needs, well, we need a little bit of clarity as to, is it going to, well, this price action is quite good really for it, because it's very indecisive. It's trying to work out what to do. So if we get a close on a weekly that's bearish, then you have, basically this pump up, a very weak weekly candle. So potentially, it might faff around a little bit and maybe go and fill the wick to the upside of this week's candle. Will it go any higher? Potentially, though, it could set things off for basically an N shape and just go straight down, which would be quite cool. Because a retest of the 17 of the low 17s, like 17, I put 1790 as is a 76.4 of this range, but potentially you could look at 1725s again. Could be available as one of our targets, which we did share last week before as a downside target. It found some support at around the 50% of the last major high and low swing, which is at 1765, which we've done all the analysis for that. But sorry, excuse me. I've just let's blimey. Yeah, if anybody wants to look at the yes, if anyone wants to look at the analysis again, then yeah, that'd be good. Nasdaq going down. Yeah, everything's crashing. Stock markets are going down, which is great. Getting a bit of a nudge to the downside.
Just want to look for the right buying opportunity. I'll give it a few days.
It's interesting. People were talking about taking some longs on gold, and now would be ideal, wouldn't it? Really, it's broken out and it's going up really nicely. Let's do some analysis on it on the smaller time frames. Let's look at the retracement. So we went 50% roughly, and then we fell over. And we pulled back about 38.2. It's all a bit rushed and a bit messy, to be honest. I just feel there's more downside to be had. But again, it will depend on how price reacts today, how gold reacts. So it's putting up a really nice fight to the upside right now. Is this going to be the start of a move that fully retraces all the way up? Quite possible. Could give you a full retracement all the way up. So yeah, you've got to keep an eye on that as well, because it has already cleared out to the downside. Does it need to go any lower? Doesn't necessarily need to right now. So yeah, we'll see. Let's drill down a little bit lower. 4 hour. So 4 hour is I think that clears it better.
What was it stalling around 1845?
Possibly. Let's have a little look. So we take the last major swing high, we take the current low, which was yesterday, really nice move, and we measure 44.5, so about here, would make for a really good shorting opportunity off the 38.2. Expect to see a bit of a reaction, maybe. We will see.
What was the 44.5?
There, so like if I let me clear, let me make this bigger right here. Make these levels a bit more pronounced, a bit thicker. And extend them as well so you can see. So every time we use fibs, we just take the last swing high, the last swing low. We just watch how price, reacts and retraces. So we've had a really nice reversal candle potentially. Now the question is, as it's getting to here, it could get up to 50, which is a 50%. So we could see price stall at around 44 area. So Rob's idea of a trade would be, for example, to start scaling in, so take something here around 45, short here, and then look to maybe short here at 50 if it goes any higher. But if it stalls here and starts dropping, then that's what he would be looking for in terms of downside, somewhere for it to turn and continue to the downside, never go. It's not clear and it is a bit of a mess, but that's why we put these support and resistance levels on, and we try and understand what's going on and see if price will react at some of these levels, and if it does react, then it potentially gives you an opportunity to enter at a decent area. You don't need to then put a massive risk on, because you could put a stop loss just above, and once it finishes the move up and starts going down, then you put your stop just above where it's just started to reverse. So allow it to finish off moving, and then you jump on. If you use a limit order, use a limit order if you're in bed or you're away, you're not around. But if you're sat here looking at what is actually happening, then there's no reason to be using any orders whatsoever. Just be patient and wait and say, is this a good place?
Is Craig talking about the limit order short?
Yeah, I've got one at 1845, he said.
Okay.
And somebody said no, is that 1948? Who's got it at 1948?
I mean 1848, sorry.
Yeah, 1848. Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, we'll see what happens. And what we don't want to see is price just keep going all the way up like this, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen today? It's making a move. It's making a move pre-US Open. Quite strong. See if it can find some resistance, run out of steam. I'd like to see what happens in about 11 minutes or so. Let this hour finish off.
Yeah, I like the rose.
Gold. Okay, so gold's alright, for a short from here would be the place, wouldn't it? It would just make sense here to allow it to drop back down. So we'll look at getting in, scaling in here if you haven't taken any money or made anything on gold. Look here as an opportunity. Makes sense, doesn't it? What's happening here? Why did that do that? Oh, okay. What nasty. So that's why we originally said stops above 50, 55 it was, which is pretty much what we've marked up on the chart. That's because we were wondering if we were going to get a bit of a retracement up first and then short back down. And we did have a move down first, which was really nice. So just letting gold do what it needs to do. See what happens after it's made a move up. Is it just gonna if it just keeps going straight up in a straight line, there's not really much you can do about it unless you're adamant about taking a long, taking price all the way back up. Wouldn't blame you if you did that, because it's pretty decent, isn't it, for a bit of price action, taking out previous structure here. Yeah. But yeah, see how 45 reacts around this 45. See if it finds something. How many minutes? 8 minutes. See how the 1 hour closes. It's about 100 pips stop loss from here. From 1845 entry to 1855 as a stop loss. For example, we could do something like that. And we're using these two fibs, so we're using the 38 and we're using the 50 for places to enter, because we have a trend line here as well. And we're saying, okay, we're going to allow for a decent retracement up to short it back down again. But if it wants to break above the 50% fib and start looking for the 61.8, we're trading way above the trend line as well. And you know, it may have the legs then to the highs, or 63. You know what I mean? It could just get quite messy. So that's why it's always important. Where you get in is so important, entry, because you don't want to be having massive stop losses. But if you're working off percentage and you're risking 1% of your capital, then again it affects that, because you're basically, if you're risking 1%, you're splitting it up over 100 pips. It's quite big, isn't it? It means your lot size is going to be small, and so your profit's going to be smaller, unless you hold to infinity and beyond. Yeah, that's okay, good. So it pumped up nicely. It's going to stall a little bit, it's going to think about things. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Let's minimum.
Just broken above 75 cents US, so that could be a reversal where it's coming in.
Pound pairs have been decent. Pound pairs on a higher time frame have got some scope here, maybe to give us a decent drop, a deeper move down. We had a nice retracement yesterday, a nice retracement up yesterday, which we took some money to the upside, but we were cautious because we were not seeing any good news coming out from the Brexit negotiations, and we felt that this was maybe a last ditch attempt to take it up, some liquidity grabbing, upside movement before tanking, finding a better place in which from where to short from, which is great. So the fact that Boris was having dinner in the evening kind of threw everything out the window, because you had to wait until 10 o'clock last night for some news to come out to say that they haven't really agreed on anything, which you did already kind of know. So you could have been a bit more aggressive and looked to take some shorts. And it was quite nice, really, because especially on pound yen had a perfect setup for shorting off that 76.4. So that's pound dollar on a daily. Pound yen. Pound yen's already done what I wanted it to do, hit my target. My 76.4 is my T1 is at my 76.4 of the last swing there. Now look how I've done my fibs here. It's funny as well, I said we'll get a little bit of a pullback. We had a little bit of a pullback and it done it exactly how I wanted it. Everything moved exactly. Precise, very precise on pound yen. I was quite happy about that, how precise it moved.
Where were your entries?
139.30 here, so we're just allowing it to go up a little bit this morning, and then we shorted it. So my high and low is the last major swing high, so I ignored that one. I was more inclined to focus 30 high, or it's not 140.30, is it 140, nearly 140.80. So we take that, and then we take this low, this high and this low. The 76.4 sits at around 140.05. So when we were buying yesterday, we were taking the longs up to 140, and we kept getting in and taking small trades and just buying it up until such time it got to 140, and then it got to 140, and then we had one final thrust to the upside. We had a push up pretty much around this time yesterday with the US traders coming in, and that was it. I did say I wonder if that's the last move, if we're just getting a little bit of a pump up and then it's just going to be ready for sit nice for a decent sell-off. And sure enough, we've had a fantastic move down. It was perfectly primed for it. So using the 76.4 as well, there's a few confluences. So it's just about identifying. Look at where prices. Look at where price is and what it's doing at that level. If it's a level of interest, or you feel it's a level of interest, you think actually that's some support there or some resistance. Then look at it. I mean, and I got in really late because this had already played out, and we had this 10 o'clock spike down. But what I really liked about this was that we had this spike down and then it spiked back up as quickly as it went down. I looked in the smaller time frames on pound yen and pound yen and pound dollar. It done this, didn't it? Really nice. I like it. Yeah. So, and that's why we look to try and get in. Yeah. That's it, and down to 138.48, so 138.50 was my target, and I felt that being up here, that gives us a decent amount of pips as well, from the 50% to the 76.4. Let me just get rid of these. Let me get rid of these ones because it's too many lines. It gets confusing, doesn't it?
Alex, on that first move down.
Yeah.
And when it hit we've got your, I think, I can't say, but is it the 100 down the bottom? Yeah. On the first move down?
What, this?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the 100, isn't it, from the move up, from the top?
Yeah, so the clue's in the name, so Fibonacci retracement. So the retracement means that you're looking for it to retrace. So wherever you're looking for price to go, in this case, we're looking for price to go down. So we need to have the starting point at the top, i.e. the 0. That's your start point, isn't it? You start at 0. Yeah, so you're starting at 0. So you say where it's come from, and it's like a boomerang. There you go, Mr. Australia. Think boomerang. In this case, what goes up must come down. So it's gonna swing down. So
I get that. What I was going to ask you is, at what stage were you then interested in this as a retrace?
oh yeah, so here, so the last swing high was the previous high. This one here at 140.80. Uptrend yesterday. We were very upbeat, weren't we? So bullish buy. So we just went up with it. It's going up nicely, etc., etc. Up and up and up. So we're buying, we'll buy, and we'll buy, and we'll target that to 76.4, and then we'll see what it does around that level. Wow, just the stock market's just tanking. Stock markets are just in free fall at the moment. Phew, look at that. I'm just looking at the NAS, and and I don't need to, but I just, you feel like the FOMO starts kicking in. You think I should be jumping all over that that Dow Jones as it's dropping and dropping and dropping, and that's pushing gold up as well. That's encouraging gold to push up. Yeah, so yeah, swing high, the last swing low. Yesterday it was bullish buys. Yesterday it was all eyes on taking the longs. We broke out that halfway line, the 50% here. We broke out of that, and let's just move that.
So what I wasn't clear on is that big, all the dark blue candles on the way down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have your first 100.
Yeah.
At what stage were you looking for the retracement?
What back down?
The second light blue candle or the
What back down? You mean?
no up when you went up?
Oh, when I went up here. Well, I came in here, didn't I? This is a 4-hour chart. So I came into the London session early in the morning here, and this was what was developing. So we were bullish when it broke here the 50%, and it broke 139.30. We were bullish, and we were looking for longs. And we said okay, we'll look for 139.63. We'll look for 140 as our prime area, as a good target. And we're thinking, okay, that's about 60-70 pips. We can make some money there. I didn't put a trade on and hold it. I could have put a trade on and held it, but I didn't. Every time it made an impulsive move, I took profit, because that's how the markets have been this week. They've been a bit shaky, a bit jumpy. That when you get a move, I take the profit and then reevaluate and see if something else sets up. So I did that a few times. Up until 140, that was my cut-off point. Once it got to about there and it tapped it, I was like, okay, no more longs, no more trading on this.
At the 38, would it have been of any interest to you?
I wasn't here for any of that. And this is high time frame. Again, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't really have a strict rule where it's regimented like that, and I say, okay, if it breaks that level, then I'm going to go long, unless this is like maybe a 1 hour chart, and we've done all of this and we're looking to explode. If I'm around for it and it's the right time, so during the London session or the New York session. But if it's at 2 o'clock in the morning, then not really. And all of this choppy price action was on Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, was it Tuesday? So today is the 10th, so yeah, Tuesday. All of this was going on decision. We were thinking a decision might be made with Brexit,
Yeah.
but we thought they'll just move the goalpost. But it was supposed to be a deadline, but they keep changing the deadline. They've been doing that for 4 years, so I wasn't surprised. But yeah, so this was reacting. You can see this big wick and indecision here. Look, it's nothing really. Look, big wick. So I wouldn't have got in to take it up long, unless they said, right, we've agreed a deal. Sorry.
Rob would be selling them the way up, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Would he be doing it on this particular instrument? But yeah, in theory, if you take away everything else and don't worry about the fundamentals of the news, because the news is moving the markets, news is moving those pound pairs right now, and they're still bearish. They're still pointing down. Quite nice, yeah. Okay. But yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're asking. Where would be a place to get in, and where would you do it? And in theory, could you justify taking it? Yeah, you could take it on a break of the 38. and maybe target the 50. And it did that. It broke 38, went to 50, dropped back down, went all the way back down, wicked up and down, because that's just because to do with Brexit, really, a pound pair, pound yen. But yeah, I see what you're saying. It wasn't until it sort of calmed and settled, and yesterday we were having a bit of a bullish day, and people might have been thinking, why is this going up when the news is so bad? And I was thinking, well, this is good though, you know. So let's take some money to the upside, because this is going up, and we're getting some, you know, nothing's been resolved as yet. So they're going to take this up, maybe try and stop people out who are trying to be short on the news. And then once it's finished doing that move, then we'll look to short, and that's, you know, that's what we did, and then this happened at 10 o'clock, and so we thought we'll just wait, but we'll get an entry if we can get one. We'll get one, and we'll short it, and we did. We got one little pullback here, and what was interesting here is I put a trend line on, just a little trend line, just to gauge the price action, and we broke the trend line, and we reversed, and we tested the underside of the trend line, so that was acting as resistance. Let me get rid of these fibs. Now I update the fibs, because these fibs are no longer relevant for me. They're done. I was already changing things over. Is anyone short on gold, by the way? Because that's hit that resistance area and it's dropping nicely. Drop it like it's hot. So just started the second hour. We're dropping. So yeah, that was quite nice. So now I would update my fibs. No longer looking at this move, because it's made a 76.4. And I'm looking for the downtrend. The news is moving the market. Let's focus on the down move. And where I'm interested in taking this is down to that 76.4 of this range as a first area of interest. So that's what I did. And that's, we got in here and we took it down there, and it's like a good 70 or so pips. Yeah, which is great. Yeah, not too shabby.
And that's pretty much it. Is that where the price is right now?
Yeah, it hit target to the T. Bang on the money. To the pip. It's nice. Yeah, really good. So now that this is a 4 LS, yeah, gold's doing what we want it to do, which is beautiful. Beautiful. We're looking for 135 ultimately. We're looking for downside to continue over the next few days into the weekend, gap down, whatever it wants to do. Downside on pound yen 135. Pound yen 135, T2 135, and that's the 76.4 of the bigger range, of the biggest range, which is that move there. Step up, pull back, step up, pull back, step up, pull back. It's like three legs up. 1, 2, 3, sell off, back down again. So I'm looking for a sharp sell off. Remember, news moves markets when it's to do with stuff like this. So you are in, you're shorting, you're committed to taking some profit right now on gold. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so that's pound yen. Pound yen's looking good. That's what we're looking at. Higher time frames. Pound dollar's the same story. Let's have a look at the pound dollar. Pound dollar. So big range down at 114, but we're looking at this last swing, which was 38.2 of that big range, because that's where things went up, and we took out previous high as well, went up to 135. And I was saying last month we were targeting 135. If you remember, we were bullish to 135, and it did it. It did exactly what we wanted. It's perfect, and it's come off that now, and it's been a bit shaky because they haven't struck a deal with Brexit. And it's bearish, and we had that pullback yesterday, and like I said, that's the last effort. Now we're bearish. We're just last bit of bullish momentum. I can't see pound being bullish at the moment, and so I'm just looking for further downside. And so I'm giving you projections for decent downside targets. 129, $1.29. Looking at $1.29, we've got maybe some trend line support that we can come down to at around 131 to 130, but downside nonetheless. We're just looking for decent selling downside. This sort of move, we're looking for a nice sell-off and that's what we're after. So, you know, downside potential on pound dollar as well. So cable, so weak pound. So that's where we're at. So we've taken some money off that already. So that's hit our T1, and we want to see how it reacts off these levels. So you see this last swing low and high. Again, this is where we plot our fibs on this last major low and high. This is the relevant area of interest as our first area that we're interested in. We look at the bigger picture all the time to see where it can get down to if it continues, but immediate interest is here, what's going on now, right? And that's what you do, isn't it, as a trader? So we'll drill down to smaller time frames to see. And I've actually done it here, haven't I? I have actually plotted the fibs on this one already. So let's use that. And let me redo this as well. This is pound dollar. Then we'll go on to golds. We'll just finish doing this, and I'll answer any questions. Oh yeah, we have a gap here on the pounds as well. Gap here down at around 127.50. That's been there for a few months now. When was that? I think that was June. Let's have a look. Oh, September. That's not that far then. Yeah, I can. No deal Brexit. I can see 127. We're being conservative with 129. And why are we saying 129? Well, because the pound likes a 50%. So if I take this last swing low, plot my fibs on that last swing low, and then I'll take it, drag it from left to right. It's always left to right. Always left to right. When we're looking for that downtrend, there's your starting point at 135.40 area, 135.39. Had the move down, wicked up, chopped around. This is what pound does anyway. It's fickle like that. So it does all this, makes a bit of noise, faffs about, does this needless move up just to try and catch people out, suck in some buyers, a bit more of a liquidity grab, and then it drops on them. And that's what, you know, you get used to that with the pound dollar. It does that. Compare that to pound yen, for example. So let's go to daily on a pound yen. Was it really that rough going? Well, that's done it as well, actually. To be fair, I think that was the move. That was the move, right? So yeah, okay. So pound dollar. But I always see this kind of price action on a pound dollar. These fake outs. It does these fake moves. So that's why you have to use the high time frames. So now it's confirmed, it's dropped, we've been shorting it, and we've got in here once it broke all of this. We're a little bit late, you could argue, but you know, we could have shorted it from about 133.50, but just wasn't really paying much attention to it, and I wasn't really around for it. So yeah, let's look at this move down. Let's look at first off T1. Well, that was just to take out or test previous structure here, where it's at now. At I was conservative as well, 85, 132.85. It's hit that. It's actually stabbed down a lot lower. Gone down to that 50. So I'm looking for 132.10. 132.10 first support, 38.2. So 132.10. So that's got another 70 odd pips to go. Potentially another 70 odd pips. Why is it doing that? Let me just check. Yeah. So the low 132 is 132.10. And well, if we're going to see a reversal, it would have to do a massive reversal, rally up, which could happen today, and we could be back up to 134. So 100 pips up. But if it stays bearish and it keeps looking for this downward momentum, then 132.10, 131.08, so 130, the low 131s, so low 132, low $1.31. Keep going down to about 130, nice round number, good area to target for pound dollar. And I was looking for that extension. I was just looking for a very weak, nice, proper momentum down to that 76.4. So taking it down to about 129, because that sits at 128.80. So just, you know, targeting just above as a decent 300 pip move. And that's still conservative. And it's still pretty conservative, because if we drill up to that weekly time frame, there's the weekly chart, there's the start. So that, you know, we're seeing our first weekly bearish candle. It's an inside bar, inside candle. You know, it's quite nice, really. It's quite a nice candle to start a downtrend on, wouldn't you say? It's Thursday. It's all weak. You know, we've been talking about it. We've been talking about going short on pound pairs, should they not come up with a Brexit deal, and it's resisted the downward pressure all week. You know, doing some liquidity grabbing, pushing up, faffing around, chopping about. But now, when push comes to shove, we are approaching the end of the week, and we're getting a decent downward move, and it's starting to give it up, because the outlook of a deal actually being agreed is looking bleak, really, less likely. So you can appreciate that is why we're seeing this. So, you know, shorting pounds, shorting gold. There's been some good setups. Shorting the stock markets as well. I had a go on that yesterday. Very nice. Yeah, really good. Some good trending clarity for you, which, if you don't really appreciate it and try and take trades in the other direction, it means you're not really paying attention. Because you may be looking on a 5-minute chart or a 15-minute chart and doing all your trading off that. To be honest, that's just dead. That's just... What trader do you know that works in a bank like Morgan Stanley that's trading off a 5-minute chart? I mean, come on. It's common sense again. You use the smaller time frames to help you, and help you get into the market, find a suitable entry. You know, like here we were looking at gold, so you start looking at it on the 5-minute time frame to look how price reacts at that level of interest, that 1845 area. You know, we're looking at how price reacts. Do you then stand that 5-minute and micromanage the move? I guess if you're only looking for 10 pips, then yeah. But what sort of stop loss are you looking for? That, you know, where are you going to plot your stop if you're just looking for 10 pips? It becomes a little bit, I don't know. Just, or you could just wait for a bit more clarity, like we're seeing now with these pound pairs as a good example, and think, okay, I'm going to short, but I'm not going to just short for 10 pips. I'm going to short for some money here, because it's moving how I want it to move, and things are going well, and it's all good, happy days. So let's make some money, and bear in mind that markets moves 20% or so of the time. This could be the time. Is it happening now? Yeah, stuff seems to be quite lively. Let's make some money. You know, this is it, because it won't be there tomorrow, or who knows? It might be, but you know, so. Alright, no? Okay. Right, yeah, so downward momentums, that's yeah, there you go. I hope some of that makes sense. Good luck. If you have any questions, please ask. Also, if you want to have a go, and maybe have a go with a demo account, try it out for yourself, you know, you could do that maybe, if you want. Be realistic with your stop loss. I mean, look, 134 area, because we're basically saying this is a weekly candle. We're going to put our stop loss at the opening price of the weekly candle, and if we go back up there after all is said and done on a Thursday, then we have no business being short, really. That they're just going to piss about and try and take this up even higher on the premise that a deal's going to be struck, which just doesn't look likely. As you know, you never know, but you've got to go with probability. And what's the likelihood? And that's what you're betting on, isn't it? That's why that's the bet. So then you build some risk elements and some rules around that, and try and manage it.
About 10 minutes from my thing, then I saw what really happened with the stock market.
Right, yeah, so let's get to gold a minute. Let's have a look at gold. Oh yeah, no, let's have a look at this one first. I quite like this. I really like this. I think this is nice. Stock market had this move. I just made there was some good money there as well. Put some trades on, and I weathered the move up as well. I just felt that we were going to hit back down again, and we did, and it was quite nice. What's that? Oh, gold. Yeah, gold is gold's at that level, isn't it? Sorry, not gold. Oil. Gold and oil. Yeah, oil is it's all right, isn't it? Not too bad. Not too bad. Triple top on oil. Definitely worth watching. Is there any news on that? Any OPEC news? Anything that's supposed to be happening? I'm sure I read somewhere about it happening. Yeah, any fundamentals? That's something worth checking out. Just to check the fundamentals, check the news, to see what OPEC decided. I think it was last week they had a meeting. Or was it even Monday this week? I can't remember. It was pretty recent. That may see oil weaken at these highs because it's at a triple top oil at the moment. Right, let's... what's that? Alright, good. This is the NAS. This is the Dow Jones. Where are we at? Dow Jones. So Dow Jones was nice just now. It was just moving down. It's just moved... retested the previous structure, previous low. Really nice price action. We inched up yesterday, making a new record high at around 30,300 and something, just above 30,300. Look at the candles. This is a 4-hour chart, and those candles up there, they're so small and really flimsy, aren't they? Really weak and feeble, and they just look like they were going to give way at some point. You can often see, again, if you're looking at a 4-hour chart, high time frame analysis, and you see this sort of price action with these candles, they're really small. It's not because my screen's small, it's because they are actually really small, even if I zoom in. That tells you something, doesn't it? It just tells you that this might give way any moment. And then as the US traders came in, they just sold it, and they just sold it, and then they just sold it some more. And when they started doing that, I got in when they did this, and I was shorting all of this, and then I thought they were going to take it down to 30,000 at least, and they pushed it up here. So I was like, okay, let's start shorting. I'm thinking, well, how high can they push this? They might actually, chances are that they could take it back up to the highs, that they just cleared everyone out to the downside, but they didn't. Fortunately, it was a really nice bit of price action, where it just remained bearish on the day, and I just went in on it, and it was a nice setup. So I shorted it down to about I think 30,000, 30,060, I think 30,060. Let's have a look. Go back on the week. The week. 30,000. Oh, 30,060, yeah, 30,060, and it closed out one of my positions at 30,059, so that would have been about here on these wicks, funny enough. It was about retesting this wick. So by about 5 o'clock, it was pretty much done for the day. And this is where we started gathering some momentum and started looking at gold and started looking at other aspects, because things are starting to move. And so you recognise there's volume, and so you think to yourself, you know what, I haven't really done anything all week. I've been struggling to find good quality price action. Now it's all starting to kick off again, and you recognise it because you're trading, and so you recognise good times and bad, and you remember the good times, you remember the bad, but you remember the good times when things are moving. You think, actually, this stuff's moving quite well. I'm gonna see if I can make some money now. Good opportunity. And so yeah, we've just been making money since yesterday, really. Apart from Monday and Tuesday, we had a loss on Monday that I'd completely forgotten about, and that was on gold when it went up, and I closed it out for a loss. Yeah, could be a wedge. Yeah, we'll see what happens in the next 3 minutes. All right, back to gold. Let's fix this up a bit. Tidy this up. Yeah, so that's okay. Leave that like that, and let's drag it a little bit. Let's put this one up to, what's the high? 75.3. Let's grab that to there. Trading View's rubbish. It should just stick. I should just be able to stick it where I want. And okay. Anyway, even with the magnet on. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so it's hovering around at 1845. It's about 38.2. Previous structure, it just took all that out, but maybe it just did a stop hunt here. A bit of a stop hunt just to, like, yeah, test everyone's stops up here. I know people had their stops at 45. Because people would have their stops at 45. It's a good place to put a stop loss. Not. Yeah, so that's good. Somebody said they had their stops at 45 instead of 55 by mistake. I'm like, how can you make that mistake? But anyway.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it is, you know, you make it easy. But, yeah, that's the thing about trading though, isn't it? There's a saying that where your stops, where retail traders put their stops, that's where they should be getting into the market. That's a prime example right there. Stops at 45, but that is where you should actually be getting in to short it. The good thing about trading that I really like is that if things are not too clear, but you haven't been patient and you haven't sat on your hands and you've just felt this addiction and urge to just be in a trade, I've got to trade, I've got to put a trade on. I've got a trade. I'm here, I've got a trade. There's always something, I've got a trade. So you put it on, and it doesn't quite pan out, but then, you know, the waters become less murky, they clear. So like here, we have these moments of clarity, and where before we may have not been too sure where to short from on gold, you know, it wasn't until it started pushing up to 40, 45 area that we were saying, okay, look, we've got some resistance here. This could be the place to get in and start shorting it. And it's just a case of being patient, and it's quite difficult sometimes because you're never too sure until it starts to happen, and then it becomes a bit clearer. But that's why if you can plan your trade and trade your plan and have that discipline and wait for the markets and wait for the price to come to you instead of you go off chasing it. Again, it's sometimes easier said than done. But if you can try and bear in mind some of these bits and pieces and always ask questions of yourself and be more demanding of yourself in that respect, then yeah, if you were shorting at 30, 35, you could then say actually, if it gets up to 45, like I was saying to you yesterday, saying to everyone here on this range yesterday, I said if we get a retracement up to about 40 to 44, because we have also the bigger picture still, we have a fib here around 42, yeah, this one 41.5, which was this massive sell-off, and this is like a 1,000 pip retracement off the back of about a 2,000 pip move. So 2,000 pip sell-off, about 1,000 pip retracement. So we knew that there was some resistance. We knew there would be some resistance, and we were thinking this is quite nice actually. Last night when I saw price stalling and moving up, oh, where'd we going? This thing's off on its own. All right. Then I sent all the information out and the analysis and the signal, because I thought to myself, we have another chance here to make some money. It's retracing up, you might be able to make some money. So I posted it, I shared it, and you had from about 7, 8 o'clock last night right up until about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock or so this morning, you've had ample time to get involved in gold if you wanted to. And you can appreciate now you need to see a close on this hour candle where it's very indecisive and not much volume, and it doesn't decide to spike up in the next 30 minutes, but it decides to stay here and possibly even just sell off, which would be nice. Then you can jump all over this for some shorting opportunity for further downside to, you know, give you what we're looking at here. And the low is about 65, isn't it? So that may give you another opportunity. So right now it's retraced where we want it to retrace. So it's fitting in with our criteria. It's testing that trend line. It's retraced to 38.2 of that last little range. You know, we're trading below 50 area, which is nice. It's important. Let's get rid of that trend line, because that trend line was used after it broke. That was used for support to launch itself up from. And if we're going to use this trend line, actually I'm going to leave it on there. That's why I left it on there. We left it on there because we felt that maybe price might decide that it wants to come down to that area. Oh wow, that's nice, isn't it? It's a nice drop all of a sudden. Another nudge down on the stock markets, on the Dow, on the S&P, on the NAS. Oh, we are seeing some strong selling. Yeah, that's it. I was just about to put some shorts on that. It just moved without me. Yeah, that's what happens when you do all this analysis, because it's distracting. Doing all this or just doing all this just takes me away from trading. But I don't necessarily need to be trading. But if you can get something out from this, then great. So yeah, just keep an eye on gold anyway. It's up here, it's at resistance. We're just checking to see if it's going to hold here. We'd like to see price hold here and then for it then to curl over. If we get one of these little candles on the 1 hour or 4 hour, something where it's a bit, you know, a bit of an indecision candle, that would be actually really good. Then we can look to short it. So 64.86, so 176486. Let me just adjust these fibs here because we're still focusing on the downside. You see how I use the fibs? I use the fibs to plot upside and downside. I look for upside by, if I'm looking for upside, then the 0 needs to be at the bottom. If I'm looking for downside, the 0 needs to be at the top. Just fix that about there, yeah, about there, that'll do, give or take. Right. Okay, so downside is potentially done on the Dow. Let's see if it can break all this downside support on the Dow. It's at support now, retesting a previous low, which is at 29,860 area. So 29,900. If price breaks all this and continues down, then we'll start looking for a bigger movement. And sure enough, we'll see gold most likely just rally all the way back up to the top. Oh, actually, yeah, gold is already trying to make a move up, isn't it? 48 already. Yeah, see what it does at this level. So gold's at an interesting area, right, approaching up 1850. We've got the stock markets at an interesting area. So gold could break up here or fell, and the Dow could break down or fell and go back up. So watch both of them for a bit of correlation. Stock markets versus gold. Because they're moving in opposites, they're correlating quite nicely at the minute. What else? Let's see. I think that's it. Right, okay, that's all good. I'm going to get rid of these, yeah, I'm going to get rid of these and put them on later if they're relevant. I think, get rid of these fibs. Yeah, that needs to go. Need to get a trend line on here. We don't actually have an upward trend line. So, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, it's found some trend line support to the upside, to the downside rather. Gold, look at that. Nice. Let's change this one to green. Bouncing off that trend line. Yeah, so if gold fails to make its way all the way back up, which doesn't look like it's wanting to at the moment, but if it does by some miraculous Yeah. Oh wow, we've just had a big pump up on the. There we go. Stock markets are pumping to the upside, so they've gone up and they've tested the support, and now the Dow's pumping, but so too is gold. So maybe gold's going to get to that 1850 area and then it'll fail. Yeah, keep an eye on gold to test 1850 and then fail. And we still have 90 minutes left on the hour. I want to see an hourly close. Let it play out, do its things to the upside, and then sell off. So that's all right. We'll leave. That's bearish. Pound dollar's bearish on the weekly. Stock markets are rallying hard. Yeah, that's good. That's good for gold. Pound pairs are trying to go up. Fair enough. This is the Dow, look, massive reversal at the open. I'll switch this up to a daily. Anyone want to look at anything else? Explore anything else? No, that's good. We might leave it there then. So that's alright. That's oh yeah, this is the UK stock market, which pumped up to the 6600, which was the upside target for us. Did that, bounced off, it came back up and tested it, and then bounced off yesterday. So 6600 is proving a decent area at the moment of resistance. A break of that will lead it up to 7000, another 400 pip move to the upside. So that's got some potential if it breaks up and continues to rally, along with all the other stock markets continuing to rally up. We'll see. Yeah, what else? That's it really. So you see what I just did there on this? I just adjusted my fibs. I just pulled up the zero line higher because it was down here somewhere, but we've got a new high here, so I'll just put it up to there, to the new high. That's that done. Gold is trying to test that 50. Get rid of that. Focus on this strong bullish move. 25.57. About there, give or take. So that, yeah, there we go. It's a bit cleaner, isn't it? So we'll see what happens here. See how it reacts. Could we go all the way up to the 76.4? Yeah, we could, couldn't we? We could go all the way up to 60, 64, 65. But ultimately, you want 1850 as a nice area of interest, a nice key level. You know what's good about 1850? It's so 1875 is the high, 1825 is the low, and 1850 is the midpoint. It's quite fitting, really, isn't it? So 500 pip move and a 250 pip retrace, and it's all very. It's just very nice to see. All the numbers are quite nice. There's a nice little range. So yeah, for that reason, we may well see. Yeah, it's as good a reason as any. We may well see a bit of a sell-off at 50. So that would be the other place where you would enter a short on gold, right? That would be the place, pretty much where I entered yesterday. Has it hit 50 yet? Okay, so we've got about 30 seconds to go, 15 minutes to go. Okay, 15 minutes to go on there, and then 30 seconds to go on there. What price is that? Good. All right. Well, let's see what it does here. But from my point of view, I'm pretty much done for the day, and I will leave it there. And yeah, all the analysis has been shared, and if you're unsure, just ask the question. But otherwise, yeah. it should be cool. Should give you some ideas as to what's going on with these markets. See what it does. This is an area of interest right here on gold. Let's just stick around for a minute and just see what happens. I'm going to mute my mic and I am going to finish the live streaming as well and just leave this Zoom session on